Today I'm leaving Ninh Binh behind and heading deep into the mountains of Pu Luong. What starts as chaos on the highways quickly turns into one of the most peaceful rides I've had in Vietnam. Once I get there, I'm exploring a place that feels completely untouched. This is the journey from Ninh Binh to Pu Luong. So that wraps up my time in Ninh Binh, and thoroughly enjoyed it. Beautiful place. I first heard about Ninh Binh when I was on the Hanoi loop last year, and everyone seemed to be going from Hanoi to Ninh Binh. Very popular route. I hadn't heard of Ninh Binh. So many people were talking about it. I thought, yeah, check that out next year, and I'm very glad I did. When you research online, you only really see like the limestone casts and stuff, and I didn't really see much of what the town itself had to offer. But the town itself really surprised me. I thought it would be really quiet, but it's not at all. It's quite built up. There's lots and lots of cool bars, cool restaurants, lots and lots to do, and the scenery that you're surrounded about is just so impressive. I thought I was going to see a crash there. In keeping with the beauty of northern Vietnam, it really just blows me away every time I come here how incredible this place is. And I'm moving on to Pu Luong now. That's about 140 kilometres, should be about 3 hours on the scooter. And Ninh Binh will be hard to top, I've got to say. The boat tour that I did yesterday, the viewpoints, probably one of the best things that I've done in Vietnam so far. And yeah, it's going to be hard to top that for the rest of the trip, but the trip is young and Vietnam keeps on bringing surprises, so let's see what we've got. Leaving Ninh Binh was a bit of an eye-opener. I barely cleared the city before I was squeezed between these massive trucks on the main highway. It's a proper baptism of fire when you aren't used to it, and I was just waiting for the moment for the road to finally open up. I pulled over to watch the workers in the rice fields for a minute, partly to take it all in, but mostly because my back was really starting to feel the miles. This was my first real lesson in scooter back, and a proper stretch was definitely overdue. I crossed over this bridge with this incredible green water and then spent the next few miles riding through thick clouds of smoke with the roadside burning. It's a smell that stays with you, that's for sure. Coming through the small towns, you realise pretty quickly that the rules are different here. So take this lady for instance. I've never seen so much fruit piled up on a scooter in my life. By the time I hit a rest stop, I was busting, and I asked the lady for the toilet and she pointed me downstairs to the water. I wasn't quite prepared for what I found, but just a gap in the floorboards and a direct drop into the lake. Saves on the plumbing, I suppose. After that, I grabbed a coffee and chilled out in the hammock for 5 minutes. The last push into Pu Luong even threw a herd of cows having a jog in the middle of the road. But as the elevation climbed and the air cooled, the landscape started to change. It looked like I was in a jungle. Finally, getting to my log cabin and dropping the gear off was the best feeling of the trip so far. Walking out onto that balcony and looking over the valley for the first time, I then remembered why I was doing this. Good morning from Pu Luong. It was a great ride yesterday. Really, best ride I've had yet so far, to be fair. Like, once I got out of Ninh Binh, got out of the highways, past all the trucks, the roads were beautiful. It was just open road, very quiet, going through all the rice fields, seeing all the locals grafting. Went up and had a closer look at that. It was great. And getting into Pu Luong, that was like the best part of it, because the roads, it kind of reminded me a little bit of the Hai Van Pass with it, proper riding roads, you know, and it was really fun getting on the scooter and yeah, doing the bends, and coming into Pu Luong was beautiful. It's very misty today, so the view from my balcony isn't as good as it could be, but I'm sure that will clear up, and even if it doesn't, I can still see stuff. And I don't really have much of a plan today. I'm just going to get out on the scooter and just go and explore, really. There's so much natural beauty in this area. I'm going to ride out, have a mooch and see what I can find, film it all, And yeah, let's see what today brings. Waking up to this view makes a sore back from yesterday feel like a distant memory. I headed out early to find some bamboo rafting I'd heard about, but as soon as I got onto the back roads here, the atmosphere completely changes. It's much more lush than I expected. It's got a proper jungle feel to it, with the canopy hanging over the road and the greenery just closing in from all sides. It feels a lot more wild, and clearly the local wildlife agrees. I'm starting to realise that in Pu Luong, the cows don't just live here, they own the roads. Well, I've got to the bamboo rafting area. There were definitely bamboo rafts. There were no staff of any kind. I got told specifically that they were definitely running today. It's a Saturday, so they should be running. But yeah, there's no one here. Now there is a chap over there, but he looks like he's working on his own stuff. Wonder if he can help me. Turns out he was exactly the man for the job. I just needed to get his attention before he excitedly led me over to the bamboo raft for my guided tour. Well, this couldn't have ended up much better. I've ended up having a private bamboo raft tour for 100,000 dong, which is about £3. And what a beautiful stretch of river, what an experience. This felt like a proper Vietnamese experience. The views are spectacular and my guide was fascinated by my drone, having never seen one before, which was cool. I then decided to head to the Hieu Falls, which the internet had described to me as spectacular. I am struggling to find this waterfall, you know. I think maybe it's like staged. Do you know what I mean? I'm kind of like looking for the showstopper, the really impressive waterfall that I'll be like, wow, cool, get some pictures here. But everything is slightly underwhelming, shall we say. It's just like, yeah, little like dribbles of water down rocks. Not really a proper waterfall, if you know what I mean. But this could be it. It's dry season now, so maybe there's just not as much water to make its way down the rocks, but I'm going to keep on searching because I've just got a feeling that I'm getting something wrong here. That's as high as it goes, so I don't see, I can only assume that it is because it is dry season. There's no rain. It's not rained since I've been here. Been in Vietnam for 7 days now, so long as it's never rained. As if I was here for nearly 4 months last year, and yeah, you generally get some rain in that time. So that is my assumption, and it's just not a lot of water. It's just mainly rocks. So it is what it is. Cannot be helped. I'm going to see if I could climb over here in these conditions. Definitely don't want to drop this camera, and see if I can get a cool snap before making my way back into Pu Luong on Sydney, and see what else there is to do. With my underwhelming waterfall experience behind me, I decided I would spend the remainder of my day having a mooch around the island, and I got very thirsty, so stopped at this shack for drinks where I met the nicest group of people. Xin chào. Come on. Thanks. That's something that I love about northern Vietnam. Something that I love doing here is when you go into like these little places, like just little local shops, and they're kind of genuinely excited to see you, you know, like back then they all kind of gathered around me and, you know, asking me questions about, you know, where I was from and what I was doing, and kind of genuinely excited. And I don't know, it's just nice. It's nice to think that you're definitely doing something different, I suppose is the best way to put it. Because, hello mate, you alright? See, like him. You know when you come here and when it's a real shock to see like a white person, that's when you know you're doing something a bit different, and it's cool. And I think it's good for me. It's good for broadening my horizons, etc. But that was cool. My back's wrecked. I'm going to go back to the hotel. I saw there was a restaurant on the way called Epic Restaurant. All right, and he's swinging around for a second. Look, yeah, called Epic Restaurant, and that's a hell of a name for a restaurant. That Epic Restaurant. So I thought, right, I'll be the judge of that. So I'm going to go there, see how epic it is, see what they serve, get some food, then get some sleep. 'Cause it's back on the road tomorrow, and tomorrow's the longest ride yet. I think it's 7 hours. So I'll see you then. Next time I'm taking my longest stint in the saddle yet, a massive trek from the jungles of Pu Luong down to Cuong. This was the biggest test of my endurance so far, but reaching a completely new part of the country made every mile worth it. Like and subscribe and join me for the long road south on the next episode. See you then.